Hello and welcome to the Mobility Outlook studio at the Auto Component Show 2023. Today we have with us Mr. Sunil Kaul, Group President and Chief Technology Officer at the ANAND Group. Mr. Kaul, welcome.
Good afternoon. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So Mr. Kaul, at this particular expo, we're having it after a break of, let's say, an extended break. So what are you showcasing for the industry this time?
Well, it's coming after COVID. As you rightly said, it's been 3 years now. And if you see last 5-7 years, the way the new technologies have emerged due to regulatory norms,
Right.
we've been talking about EV. We just talked about that 3 years back. But the way EV has taken a momentum, but for that extent, the sustainability, that's become the main
Absolutely.
topic of the discussion today.
Right.
And that's where probably EV show probably would be more focusing or displaying
Right.
their capabilities towards sustainable products.
Right, right. So when you talk of sustainability, Mr. Kaul, of course, it runs across your product lines, across the group companies. How are you really approaching it, and what are the kind of changes that you're sort of bringing into your product lines?
There, I think if you look at sustainability, since I happen to head sustainability for the group also,
Right.
so sustainability we are looking in our companies three aspects.
Mhm.
One obviously is a greenhouse gas emission, which is
Sure.
a very standard. Whole of the world is looking at
Right,
that.
right.
That's a prime focus for us. Second is water.
Okay.
How do we reduce the water
Mhm.
consumption? How do we reuse the water?
Mhm.
And how do we recycle the water?
All right.
And also, how do we store the water?
Mhm.
And third is, how much can we avoid the landfill?
Okay.
So these are three elements what we are monitoring all across our plants. We have around 50 plus plants. The methodology to measure is all digital.
Okay.
So we're measuring. If you can measure, you can control. Now we are controlling. So that is one of the basic things. But what we realize that well, you may be able to improve upon in your own work area, but it's also very important that you get into the products
Right.
which will make this country green.
Right.
So sustainability is much bigger beyond you.
Beyond.
So we this year in this show we have launched a new brand under ANEVOLVE.
Mhm.
There's a new company we launched, ANEVOLVE.
Mhm.
Under ANEVOLVE, we'll house all the companies
Mhm.
which would be developing and producing products or components
Mhm.
which get into sustainable products.
Okay. Very interesting.
For example, right now we're starting with 4 companies.
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember last year we launched AMEM,
Right.
making motor and controller. That's for EV. That's for
Right.
sustainable cause. We announced today another Israeli joint venture,
Mhm.
which is Zeus,
Mhm.
where we would be manufacturing energy storage system,
Mhm.
but that energy would be stored in sustainable, in a flywheel technology
Okay.
through a kinetic energy, not in a battery.
I got it. Okay.
And this has a life of 20 years.
Mhm.
And it's sustainable. All the material used is metal in it, which is recyclable.
Mhm.
Other company we have launching is a joint venture with our Japanese partner called Headspring.
Uh-huh.
So this is a technology engineering company. We'll have a joint venture where we will develop power electronics.
Okay.
It's converter, inverter, onboard chargers, whatever power electronics you need for EVs
Mm.
or for renewable or
Okay.
solar.
All right.
So everything will fall in this category. That's where the joint venture with Headspring.
Mm.
Another company, fourth company we're doing with the UK-based company called Veritech.
Okay.
We are working on hydrogen fuel cell.
All right.
So here the company is capable of developing complete hydrogen fuel system,
Mhm.
where they claim with their product the battery size will further reduce. So this is a UK-based company. We announced that also today.
Okay.
So to start with ANEVOLVE, there are 4 companies under this platform, which are basically towards sustainability. And well, we'll keep adding to that.
Okay. Okay. So help me understand the group structure with this emergence of the new company. You said you'll have all 4 companies that will be under that umbrella, but in the future you will also keep adding to this particular portfolio. How does the group structure work?
So very important to look at when you talked about structure. This ANEVOLVE, Mr. Jaisal Singh would be the chairman or executive chairman of ANEVOLVE.
Okay. All right.
So he would be heading this this platform, and all the companies which would be pure EV or pure towards sustainability
will come
would
under
be
this.
housed under this.
Okay,
Not agnostics.
got it.
So, which are purely like maybe tomorrow I may have to do BMS, that will fall in this category.
Understand. Okay. All right. So when we look at this transition, you of course EVs is something that you've been already have invested in. Hydrogen is a new area, and what we've also seen is there's a lot of interest as well as push from the government as far as the green hydrogen is concerned. So what is the kind of opportunities that you see in this particular domain?
Yeah, that's what I said. One
Yeah.
of the company, Veritech, what we announced today, UK-based company, is in hydrogen, fuel cell complete technology, and I do believe it may take little more time because you have to develop infrastructure in India.
Sure, sure.
Hydrogen has to be made available to everybody, and today hydrogen fuel cells are expensive.
Right.
So they have to come down in the prices. But well, that is the only energy. If you go with green hydrogen, that's the only energy which is carbon zero.
So,
So carbon emission is zero. At the tailpipe, you get water as
correct.
the emission. So there's nothing to beat hydrogen, and especially in commercial segment where EV has its own challenges of the weight of battery and other things. I do see hydrogen is the possibility.
Right.
Well, it takes 3 years, 5 years to come. Well, nobody can predict.
Okay.
But that's where we believe it's the future.
Okay.
That's the reason we tied up with a company out of UK,
All right.
specialized in this. They are out of Horiba, Myra.
Okay.
So we will be working with the customers next 2-3 years, trying to look at their requirements, their needs, and develop the products for them. Validation, testing, it came up 3 to 5 years before it gets into production.
Right. So since we're talking about carbon neutrality, India of course has committed to a 2070 sort of a timeline. But within the ANAND group, right? You're talking about EVs, we're talking about hydrogen. What are the other solutions that might come in and that you'd like to sort of get into when you're talking about sustainability and going to net zero?
See, there are two aspects. One, as I started with, I was talking about in our manufacturing, what all we can do. We have taken a mission of neutrality, carbon neutral. We do believe all our companies by 2027 should be carbon neutral.
Okay.
So that's the first step.
All right.
This is scope 1. So we want to get into scope 2, where we need to work with our suppliers for improving their sustainability efforts. So we will start that activity 6 months down the line. And third, scope 3, what we talked about, we would be manufacturing more and more products.
Right.
And the products which we designed right now, we have to see how we can have more recyclable material being used there.
Okay. From a business perspective, Mr. Kaul, if you can give us a sense of how the last year was, and considering the kind of changes that we're seeing witnessing in the mobility domain, how does business look like in the coming years?
Well, I think for ANAND, last year was fantastic. I would say all the guys were so busy in producing, supply chain challenges.
Right.
So we did around $1.9 billion
Okay.
sale. We did or will be doing by March this year. So extremely good year for us. And as I said, that now the new target what we have taken, which comes from ANEVOLVE, we want to have 3,500 crore getting added by ANEVOLVE platform in next 5 years time.
Okay.
That's annual sales, around 3,500 crore. So we're investing around 1,000 crores in next 5 years.
Okay.
And we do plan to have around more than 2,000 people who would be employed in these companies.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kaul.
Thank you, Mr. Thanks a lot. Thanks for calling. Thank you.